Great, thank you.
To close our forum today, we're very honored to be joined by Bela Silva. She is a world-renowned artist, and so we're super thrilled that she's been able to make time to be with us today. She's just been exhibiting in Paris at Design Miami, where I saw her work this week in the garden. It's amazing, ceramic sculptures. But I know that she's going to be maybe talking about all her work today, which goes into other media. And so I just wanted to say thank you, Bella, for being with us. And we're
Thank you
super
to
happy that you,
everybody.
thank you.
And it's been very nice to hear all the experience. And when I was listening music, I love music, so I just wanted to start dancing. For me, it's very important music, and it's so true that sometimes you see things in Peru that remind us things in Africa, and all that is amazing because these people they didn't travel the way we do, and so we see all these things happening. So I'm going to show a little bit my work. I started with clay many years ago when I was a student at the fine arts in Lisbon, and was not so cool to work with clay. So, but I always kept doing because I thought, and I think that is a material that you can do so many different things. That is fantastic. So now I'm gonna show a little bit what I did.
Yeah, if you just tell me when to switch, we will switch the
Yes,
slide.
you can. I showed. So this is a piece I made some years ago, inspired in one of these traditional ceramics from Caldas da Rainha. It's Caldas da Rainha is also. It's not far away from Lisbon. They are well known for the ceramics, so they have that shoe that and as plates. And I wanted to do something to look in a different way, always looking at the past for inspiration for new ideas. When I was younger, I also did archaeology, and I always loved history and stories, and so all that always inspired me. And it's true that people always ask me what are my inspirations, and I think what makes a difference also with artists is the way we look at things. Sometimes we are looking at I don't know, a shoe, a broccoli, or a head of a shrimp, and that can give you an ideas for inspiration to make a sculpture. And so you can, I talk, but you can move the images. And just a little bit of biography. I was born in Lisbon, and I worked between Brussels and in Lisbon. In Lisbon is where I have my family. And when I finished the fine arts in Lisbon, I went to Chicago for masters, and I stay many years in Chicago, New York. And it's true. And when I was little, my dream was to go to America and to work for Walt Disney because I was crazy about cartoons. And I remember the teacher saying to my mother, Bella, she's an artist. Always my teachers. I never doubt what I was going to be to do, and because. They said that sometimes when they look at my drawings, is they had the impression like or pieces, they had the impression that they were uh, becoming alive and to walk. So, and for me, what was fantastic in Chicago at the Art Institute was like that we could do different things. So when I went to the school was to do a master's in ceramics, and I did many other things, footwear design, photography, many things. And also to be next to the Art Institute, the museum was also a big inspiration, and architecture. But also, when you are away, and I was away from Portugal, I start to look in, I start to pay attention to the tiles. So my first tiles that I paint was in America because when you grow up with things, sometimes you don't pay attention. Is when you get the distance that when I came back to Portugal, I look at things in a different way. Is why I live in between two countries. It's very complicated, but sometimes I also like I have the opportunity to refresh my eyes, and when I go back to my work, I see in a different way. So this was my first studio in Brussels, and was fantastic. Had all these shelves. They were like ready to receive my work. And Philip, if you could, and if you have, you can. So this, so this was like 14 years ago. What happens when you move to another country? It's like a shock. Emotional was very difficult. It's like I was missing my family. I was missing my friends. Brussels was a different weather. So you start to create almost a cocooning, your own world. And of course, I grew up near the ocean, so my first pieces were inspired on that, because it's true when I'm away, and what I miss in Portugal for me is this contact with the ocean, with the water, with the smell of the Atlantic and the waves. So of course I have a lot of inspiration at that time, of the contact with the sea. And I always kept my studio in Lisbon. Always kept that, even if I was in other countries. I always felt I needed always to keep my studio there, because sometimes it's hard just to just to move out and forget everything. So I always kept my studio, because the Lisbon light, it's fantastic. I have friends in Porto, that is also a beautiful city, and sometimes when I call me, they say it's more gray than in Lisbon, and it's amazing light. And here you see also some drawings. For me, drawing is the beginning of everything. When I draw is like almost a meditation. It's almost a surprise also, where this line, the endless line, where it's going to finish. The ceramic is more, is more the technique, the glaze takes time. Sometimes people don't understand the time. They think that you make a piece and 2 weeks later you can put inside the kiln. Because I think the problem now, and after the COVID, we thought COVID is going to make people more patient, but no, people, they don't understand the question of time. I think the notion of time. So things, they need to dry, then goes to the kiln, and everything takes time. Up and down. So this. And it's amazing for me also when I see my work. I can say this was made in Brussels, this was made in Lisbon, because the light affects me. What is surround affects my work. This is my studio in Brussels, and these are pieces I made 12, 14 years ago. And when I was in Chicago, really, you arrive in a place. I was in my early 20s. Portugal was is not now is very different, like the way it was. So for me, when I arrived in America without know any person, and the big proportions was very different than the Lisbon that I grew up. So for me, it was fantastic to see Frank Lloyd Wright, Louis Sullivan, and everything. And then later, when I arrived to New York, I was like, I need to make money right away. The city is very, very expensive, and of course the clay. You need the student, you need kilns, you need the whole thing. And so I start to do some drawings for the New York Times and other magazines. And the problem sometimes when you do illustration, you need to follow many things. They give you a title, and so sometimes for me it's difficult when I need to follow things. But was a fantastic experience. So I think my work now is a mix of all these places that I live and that I had opportunity. I love meeting different people and seeing different cultures, and I'm lucky that I have friends everywhere. And I also the collages, they start because I was collecting all these papers, and when I arrived in Brussels, I was going to the flea market every day collecting things, because we think always artists, we think that oh, I'm going to do something with this. It's a piece of food, it's a book, a old book, it's a fabric, it's a paper. And so suddenly I had all these things in my studio, and then I really need to start to do something because otherwise, I didn't have almost space to move, and that's how the collages they start. And so this is other image of my studio in Lisbon. So was interesting to see all these people, foreigners, artists. They come to Portugal and they are working with other people and in Portugal. And when I'm in Lisbon, when I'm in Portugal, how can I say that? I never stay enough time that I can do that kind of projects. But I do work. I do my big pieces in a factory because sometimes I need big kilns. So this is just some drawings I did in my past to keep some ideas. Philip, you can uh, scroll down otherwise. So some collage. So it's true when you grow up with all the tiles and all the colors on the facades are like tapestry and textiles. So I'm very attracted to that. And this was my first tile panel that I made when I was in my 20s, and is in a tile museum. The tile museum is very nice. I hope when you come to Portugal and have the opportunity to visit that museum and see the influences in Portuguese tiles with the majolica, with more Arabic and with the Delft influence. And so I've been having the opportunity to exhibit in other places, in other countries. And so now you can go to the other image, Philip. And this year I went to Rio de Janeiro, where I exhibit in the MAC in Niterói. And so I was reading Brazilian writers and look and um, Brazil gave me this an amazing energy. There are places it's just you go and it's just this energy because all the use of the colors and I like the inspiration that gave me, and I wanted something tropical. Was like all the use of the colors and. So this I did in this beautiful building by Nehemiah. So it was opportunity to. I went 20 years ago to Brazil, but now I saw in a different way, and I did also the tile panels. And now I'm represented in some galleries in some countries. And this was many years ago. I did a subway station called Alvalade. I wanted to do also kind of a story. So sometimes I'm in the subway incognito, and they are little the children. They ask the parents, "Oh, can you tell me a story?" And the monkey, and so. But I the tiles, the tradition of tiles in Portugal is like. I was interested in tiles many years ago. The problem is like we didn't have we didn't have projects to do. We didn't have so I couldn't develop works in tiles because we didn't have so. But there is a lot of potential, and it's true that the fact that I've been also living in other countries gave me opportunity to meet and people, and my work also going more international. So I had opportunity to work with Hermès. That was a fantastic collaboration, and Tiffany's and Serax, a Belgian company, and voila, some of the companies I've been working. And with me, this happened because I left I left my country. Voila, some of the scarves I made for. Hermès, and collaboration for Serax, and for the tiles I made for Viuva Lamego. Well, life is about meeting people and having these opportunities, and this I love fireplaces, so I really like this the the Swedish chimneys, and so I start when I have this opportunity. I really like doing this, the fireplaces. So here's some examples that fireplaces I did. This was for Switzerland. This was a restaurant in. This is a restaurant in Paris. The only thing I need to find a balance between the commissions and the time also for me to develop my work and for the exhibitions in galleries or in museums. So it's true that I've been very, very busy with this kind of projects. I grew up in a family. I grew up seeing my father making things in metal. I grew up with the smell of the studios and all that. So I was like, and voila. So for me, it's difficult to talk about my work, and sometimes people they ask me, "What do I prefer? Do you prefer your drawing? Do you prefer your sculpture?" And oh, I like better your drawing. I like better your ceramics. So people have all these opinions. And the other day, I said, if I prefer to draw, if I prefer to do my ceramics, I say, which hand do you prefer, the right or the left? It's difficult. I don't need to choose and but it's fantastic when I do this kind of collaborations. I like because I leave also my studio, because being an artist you are alone in your studio. And to tell you, I went to school fine arts where I had other people that were fantastic artists and they quit because they say I can't be alone, I can't, it's very lonely. So many people do have talent but they can't because they don't, it's very hard to be alone, not to feel so it's fantastic this kind of collaborations and to see also your work with different mediums. And voila, if you have some questions.
Don't think you have to be afraid that you don't know how to talk about your work, because the work is talking very loud and beautiful. So in fact, we could have sit for another hour to look through more images. We are definitely very much in love with your work, which we discovered in Brussels
Yeah.
at the gallery. And yeah, I think, maybe you're lonely as an artist, but you surround yourself with so much beauty. Like you have the birds, you have your plants, you have your flowers, you have. So in fact, that is, I think, consoling maybe to be such an expressive artist.
And I think there's also so much joy in it that it is about using joy as a form of activism. And I think that all of the speakers today are, in a way, aesthetic activists because they're using beauty and collaboration to express culture and life and joy. And this is the kind of things that are giving people hope in these darker times. So it has much more power than ever before.
Yeah, it's more essential.
We
I think
really
it
need
was
that.
very, very amazing. I think that the curation was impeccable, as was the lineup. It was just going from one joy to another wonder. And it adds up that now I understand very much better Portugal, because I see that you're a very close knitted country. And size certainly does matter, as we see in the Netherlands, where this also happens, and where there is a great community between also museums and galleries and designers and artists. So we really can feel that now through our screen. It's not the best communication, but it's the one we have. And I really believe that this was a great gift for all of us, because our audience is very design driven, as you know. And so, yeah, thank everybody who's been talking. It was super.
Yeah, so thank you very much to Armando Ribeiro for curating today's lineup. We hope you feel better very soon. Thank you also to Kavita Parmar from Extant, who connected everybody, and she is a force of her own, which I think we need to acknowledge and also go and see what she's doing in Mallorca in Spain at Extant. Thank you also to Spazio Nobile and Lisa for connecting us to Bella, because we know it was a busy week for you with the fair in Paris. So thank you for making it last minute to be with us. We're very grateful. And thank you to everybody for joining us, because of course we need the audience to be part of this. And if you'd like to connect with any of the speakers and about their work, you can purchase it on the websites that are provided through the links that we've sent you, or if you need to ask about collaborations, or if you have ways that you can help each other, you're always welcome to reach out to the speakers through their websites or through Instagram. So I think that's it. Is that it? We're going to look forward to another amazing forum in a month from now, which is going to show us how to work closer with different cultures in a more respectful way, but also being fully aware of the contemporary way of doing things. And so we look forward to Monica's amazing lineup of speakers. People have already started registering for that, so please don't forget that you need to register.
Early voting.
Yes, early voting.
But I want to mention again, please, all of you still here with us, if you can get us 4 to 5 more people, and if you do that every time, and you ask everybody also to do that from their position, we can grow our community, because the hope is now, this hope form is 4 years old, and we want it to become very old. And we want to be with you for a long time, because we think hope is still a very important ingredient. We want to connect the dots. We want to look at the critical mass of goodness to fight the badness in this world. So it's a very important thing we want to do. It's our hobby, but we are really convinced that this is helping all of us. And so please help us, hold our hands to do this for the future.
And we should all hope together as 200 people, that the next time that we are together in a month from now, we will have the right president in the United States. So please send that hopeful energy all to that country.
Yeah, we have to will, as we've never been willing in our lives, all of us.
Yeah, for the future of humanity. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for being with us.
That was a great, great moment. Thank you. Leave it on a little.